Hello, my name is Adam Atkinson. It's nice to be back at G4, if only virtually. Thank you for having me again. What I'd like to talk about today is the fictional inventor Daedalus, who was an invented friend of David E.H. Jones, who used to write about his inventions in New Scientist magazine and possibly elsewhere. My aunt gave me a huge number of back issues of New Scientist in the 1970s. And my hope is that those of you who haven't heard of Daedalus might be inspired to go and seek out the collections of his projects to possibly build some of them at home, because they can be done with everyday household materials. And they address real life problems like drinking, swimming, and looking at things. So drinking. You're a desert explorer. You're traveling through the desert. Do you want to carry huge amounts of water with you? Well, no, because that's not convenient. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to extract it from the air around you? Well, you can do that. Some substances, called deliquescent substances, absorb moisture from the air. And even in the desert, Daedalus claims, there's a reasonable amount of water in the air. And so if you had a deliquescent substance, it could absorb the water for you. How would you get it out again? Well, you can apply pressure. And if you put a semi-permeable membrane on one side of the deliquescent substance out so that it comes out through the semi-permeable membrane. So you could fill an accordion or a wine with one of these materials and then periodically squeeze it. But Daedalus' insight was the pressure to get the water out. Build a column of one of these substances, and then the water would be absorbed at the top, and a semi-permeable the membrane would have at the bottom would have a constant stream of water coming out of it. So he did some calculations, and with sulfuric acid, you could build a 2.4 kilometer tall column of it and have a constant supply of water coming out of the bottom. If you think that's impractical, he proposed golden syrup as an alternative, and I'm sure molasses would achieve much the same results, and you would only need 720 meters of that, which is much more convenient, and a car wax called carbo wax, a mere 50 meters would suffice. So we could fill the Sahara Desert with 720 meter columns of molasses and provide water to weary travelers. Wouldn't that be great? The second one, swimming. Not something I actually do very often myself, but this project led me to phone the British Oxygen Corporation to get some pricing information on the materials required to see if I could actually build one of these. Daedalus observes that when you swim in water, you have to wear, breathing apparatus or oxygen tanks or something like that. Wouldn't it be convenient if you didn't need to do that? Well, he said, would it be possible to find a gas that you could breathe and float in? And the answer is, you can do that. If you compress the noble gas xenon to 50 atmosphere density and put just a little bit of oxygen in it, you get the same partial pressure of oxygen in the xenon as is in the normal atmosphere, and it has a density of about the same as water, so you could float in it and breathe it, and that would be absolutely brilliant. And so I phoned the British Oxygen Corporation to find out how much xenon cost, and they said the problem with this swimming pool is you'd have to corner the entire world market in xenon to build it, and it costs so many tens of thousands of pounds per cylinder, so you probably don't really want to do that. And I much later found out that xenon is actually an anesthetic that causes nausea and vomiting. So realistically, this project might not work as well as it sounds like it might. And of course, you'd have to decompress your customers as they left and extract xenon from their bodies and so on. This is all sounding a bit weird, but I'd still like to see somebody try to build one of these. The final project, looking at things, has become more topical because of flat earthers. One of the ways we know the Earth isn't flat, as you probably know, is that as ships sail away, the bottom of the ship vanishes before the top of the ship does. But we could fix that. When you see the sun go over the horizon, it's actually physically below the horizon before you see it vanish because of refraction. What if we could strengthen refraction so that light just went round and round, so that you could look at the back of your own head with a telescope? All we need to do is replace the Earth's atmosphere with sulfur dioxide, and the Earth would then seem flat. Ships would just get smaller and smaller, and you wouldn't have the bottom bit vanish first. And that would make flat Earth type conversations so much more entertaining. And I think that is worth the small price of killing the entire world's population with sulfur dioxide. I hope that this might encourage you to seek out the inventions of Daedalus and the further inventions of Daedalus, 2 collections of these projects, which I'm sure are available at good bookshops all over the place. Thank you very much.